Yeah, like growing up, I was like really good at sports, obviously, to a point where I would run into so many people who didn't understand the experience, and I was like, damn, y'all don't know what I'm saying? And I grew up always wanting to explain that, always cross that bridge. And it really got highlighted when I went to Columbia because nobody there was going pro. Like, to be around so many people that knew they were going to be successful, like uber successful, and none of them were thinking with their bodies. And that was mind blowing. So when I got there, I was like, I'm going to tell everybody how I experienced this world through sports and through my experiences, and just ran with it. So media is different now. It's not about the story. It's about the personality, and you just got to shift with it.
Cool. And we're rolling, by the way. We're just.
Where we going? Crenshaw? Where we going? Where we rolling? Where we rolling? Oh, we on the mic? Yeah, shoot.
Crenshaw,
one thing I
Long
learned about being a pro is as soon as you leave the house, your ass home. And you might be getting filmed in the house now, the way they rolling. It's different.
Yeah. No, we just literally turned it on because this is usually when the special moments happen instead of the stage stuff, you know what I mean? This is the raw, the real.
Oh, man, the glossy. I call it the makeup media, where it's like people who wear makeup actually talk like they got makeup on, They don't say the real. We get it.
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about me so you know who.
First of all, you look rich. I don't know what the hell this left arm is doing. You look, if I were a girl, I'd be like, man, who that? Yeah, I don't even know what that's rose gold, pink gold.
It's whatever you want it to be, brother.
Hell yeah.
That's what it is.
It's a winner circle. There you go.
Thank you.
All right.
So, Jeff Mendez, I'm from Puerto Rico originally, even though I don't look like it. But I am.
You actually do.
Do I look Puerto Rico?
No, I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have led with it, but you ain't surprising me. I can see it in you.
And then this show, it's more like for fun, just to meet people and contribution too. So
good therapy. I love
it. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay. Is there any, before we keep going, is there any like one thing that you think would be cool to like share with folks?
Me. Let me stop. I'm open book, man. I'm more than Wikipedia. I'm more than whatever the bio says. I just talk. What's one thing? Shit, no. I love the pumps. I love the Pump Brothers where we at.
And you
guys are a real crew. Look at this shit.
They
need to come to my house.
Have you done the gala for a few years then?
Yeah, I hosted it one year. I met the Pumps. It felt like the late '90s. You can't live in LA and not pay, property tax or know the Pumps. It's just, I'm not lying, dog. I was like, who are these dudes? Everybody kept telling you got to know them. I was like, can you explain who they are? Like, I don't have to know anybody. They don't have to know me either, right? And you're like, no, you got to know the Pumps. Cool. And I'm so glad that that's how they're introduced, because you got to know the Pumps.
That's cool.
Like, they're just great people.
Okay, awesome. So this is awesome. So let's set the stage here. So obviously football was the sport of choice. Other sports when you were growing up that were close to the heart that you were really thinking of maybe taking that route, or was it always football?
It's funny you say that, because football wasn't my sport of choice. I think football chooses you. You don't choose it. I think every kid wants to play basketball, and then they realize that there are only so few jobs and only so few guys that can do that or be at that height, whatever that skill level is. Like, basketball's at the top of the athletic pyramid. Then you start falling down. I love football. I love baseball. Yeah, your ass can't play basketball, right? So I tried to play basketball when I was 8. I played football, basketball, ran track the same year, 8 years old. And I was insane in football, but there was still a guy better than me named Stace Bozeman, legend. And then I was really good in track, and I sucked in basketball. And one of the things about me is if I'm not good at it, I don't even fight it. I'm like, no one has to be all things. So I'm horrible at drawing. I'm horrible like in artistry. I'm horrible in basketball, and those things that I just never worked on. And I have a little regret, because I got older, I realized I should have just played for the athleticism, for the skill, for the conditioning, for the game. But football was the way, but it chose me.
Love it. Thanks for that explanation. That's profound. When did you know that football was going to be a thing, like a real thing?
Different stages. I mean, when you're 8 and 9 and you're going to the snack stand and people know your name already, and it's people's uncles coming up to watch you play, and there go Wiley, or there go some kids that you just met and you're like excited to talk about Transformers, and they're like, dude, you're so fast. And you're like, wow, I got a little rep. So I knew it was going to take me further than where I was. I didn't think it was an NFL experience in front of me. I frankly didn't know that the NFL was a real thing when I first started. like those grown ass men are playing something I can do if I just keep being at this level. So it was wild, like every stage. And then you hit some bumps in the road. You don't get ranked as high as you want. You don't get the school that you desired and all these little things. But I think it was my junior year in college when I really understood that there's no way this is not going to happen. I ran for a scout, and after I finished running for him, he's like, okay, you're 6'4", you're 260, you just ran a 4.6. He's like, yeah, I think a lot of people are going to find out about you, so just look forward to next year. And since I went to a small school, that meant a lot to me, and it just started snowballing from there.
Yeah, tell us the school. What school did you go to?
Yeah, I went to Columbia University, Ivy League in New York City, so born and raised L.A. I'm from Compton, grew up South Central, Slauson, Crenshaw, and then I looked up and I wanted to go to all these football schools, and a lot of them wanted me to go there as well, but I took an assessment of my neighborhood around my junior, senior year, and I was like, man, there's so many guys from here that were better than me that didn't materialize their dreams. They didn't make it. And whether it was a reason, excuse, I didn't care. I was just like, a lot of cats from here are not making it. And I'm like, what kind of insurance policies do they have? What kind of security blankets? And no one was leading with academics. And frankly, the young 17-year-old version of me didn't want to as well, but I had to think bigger than myself because I wanted my family to get out of our condition, our situation. So I prioritized academics. I was always a good student. I never thought it made sense to go to school for 6 hours in class and talk shit and giggle with girls. I'd rather study and then go practice, and then if you call me after that, good. So I had my priorities in alignment, and so it led to me choosing a school off the beaten path. I went to Ivy League.
That's really insightful there. What would have been the other school that you would have potentially gone to if you hadn't chosen Columbia?
Yeah, it was between that, UCLA, which is right down the street from where I grew up.
And I was going to ask you that. Do you feel like part of your reasoning for going all the way to Columbia was UCLA is too close to home and I can maybe get back into these circumstances, if you will?
Yeah, leave the ecosystem, man. Leave whatever culture I was a part of. You know, I knew so many people from here. I took my recruiting trip to UCLA, and I'm literally helping the tour guide out. Like, yeah, I know that building. I know that place, you know. That, or I was going to go to Cal Berkeley as well. I was thinking about those kind of schools, which are great schools. It just didn't lean in perception like Columbia leans into academics. Like, it's just like, oh, it's a great school, play sports and get a great education. But then you say Columbia and people's eyebrows go off their head, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And that was the big difference. And I didn't know all of that from hello, but through the recruiting process and through meeting the coaches, administrators, doing my own research, and then some alums, you just get a chance to hear of their success. And they threw a stat at me that was crazy, because everyone was trying to negative recruit. So all the other schools that were football schools were like, you're going to Columbia, you'll never make it, you'll never make it. I was like, you told me that when I was born in Compton, that I wouldn't make it out of Compton. So now here we go again. The thing that was crazy was there were 3 players in the entire NFL that were from the Ivy League, but there were 6 owners from the Ivy League. And I said, damn, nobody knows that stat. And I said, I'm running with that.
The recruiter told you that stat?
Yeah,
They're smart.
Oh, yeah.
They're smart.
They
did their...
I was like, what? Yeah, that, and I'll tell you another thing they told me. We went to the top of Empire State Building, 107th floor or whatever, sitting there, backdrop New York City skyline. I'm an LA kid. I'm not used to all this. And I'm like, this is amazing. And long story short, he says, Marcellus, do you want to go to a school and carry the torch, or you want to come to Columbia and light the torch? So let's roll that shit, light that shit, smoke that, let's go. And I did, man. I'm so glad I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. So college, and you said junior year is the year there was an epiphany, like, hey, the pros is in this thing for me.
Yeah.
Talk to us about year one in the NFL. What was it like? What were some of the discoveries? What are some of the things that people think are so, but they're just ain't so when you really get in there, if that makes sense what I'm asking?
Oh, yeah, misnomers. Well, first, you get drafted, which is amazing. Like, I think one of the superpowers everyone has is to make your dreams a reality, whatever that dream is. So I wanted to be a school teacher and an NFL player, but I prioritized being a school teacher because I thought it was more realistic. And when I became an NFL player, like it made me like tear up. Of all the guys I worked out with, played ball with, that were better than me, that were worse than me, but worked their ass off, and everybody was trying to make it, and how our paths were so similar. I stayed after practice, you stayed after, but I made it, and thousands of them didn't make it. And it's not just because they weren't good enough. So when you get drafted, it's someone saying, yeah, you know, here you go, here's the magic wand, here's the genie lamp, rub it. Oh, you did. And I'm like, that's crazy, that's a superpower. I made a dream real. But then you think like the world's gonna change, like it's gonna spin different, like you about to be rich, and first of all, when you get drafted, you don't get any money. Like it's like they just told the world that you're on their team. They ain't sending you no wire. You got to negotiate, right? So you're still the same broke dude, but everybody looking at you like you did it. And I'm like, what? I'm on loan. I'm on consignment, homie. So you walking around here flossing with nothing, and then all that stuff comes. But I think the misnomers are. The first one is just like physically, like I was big, fast, strong, Ivy League. I had to be all those things, measurables. And then you meet a dude with a gut who's like 31. And you know, I'm 21, he's 31, and he don't even want to get out the chair. And when he does, it takes him like 10 minutes. And you're like, damn, that's the OG, that's the beast, that's the vet, that's the guy who's going to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, young buck, yeah. And all that is fooling you until you get on that field. Then you realize what old man muscles look like, right? And what they feel like. And don't let that belly fool you. Like they are skilled. This is their craft. This is how they feed their family. So the weight room doesn't make as much a difference as you think it does. Like that's some young level stuff. You got to learn this. You got to go between the ears to master this game. So everyone always says that, and it's cliche, you know, it's about your will. And it is, because we all big enough, fast enough, strong enough to do it. We all qualify in tangibles, but not in intangibles.
Remind us, how many players in the NFL? What's the number?
Total, 1,800 or
1,800.
So. Yeah,
okay.
32 teams, usually 50, some 60 guys. So, yeah, that
So
works.
the elite of the elite. And then the average lifespan in the NFL is what, 3 years? Is that right?
Yeah.
And then another interesting stat is, you know, what happens, you know, after the league. Obviously, you got the education that you got. So maybe talk to us about your mindset. I mean, I'm sure you were thinking, hey, there's an average lifespan. I went to Columbia. Yeah. What's that process, or what did you see in the NFL knowing what those stats are after exiting the league?
Yeah, no, I get you. It's a war within, because it's tough because you're hearing so much pertinent, like great intel, great wisdom from veterans, from financial advisors, from elders who are telling you, you know, take care of your money, be smart, invest, look forward, and don't take this for granted. But you're also still 21. Mm-hmm. And all this great advice is happening at the worst time, because you just got paid and you're young, dumb, and full of it. And, you know, I don't care how smart you are, you're not making the best decisions. What do they say? You're not even fully developed, your prefrontal cortex. So you're like, you're just.
What's the age on that? Is it 25 or something? Yeah,
that's what they say, 25. The first thing that happens is the dynamic, the paradigm shift in power in your family. Like, think about it. You're 21, and I got a check that was bigger than the checks my mother had made her entire life, and my father had made his entire life combined.
One check.
One check.
Wow.
I'm like, damn. You know? So now, being real, it's not so much everyone is just discarding you, or move, Teddy Bear, my nickname. Move. Like, nobody's doing that as much. And that was comforting when it used to happen. But now it's like, no, what Teddy Bear think? What Teddy Bear say? Because they know they got to include you, because at the end of the day, when things go awry, you're going to be the one that's going to have to save the day. So that was difficult with like all your friends and family at such a young age. And that's what makes people go broke. You know, one, you're too young to have that much, but hey, it's yours. But more importantly, you got to bring so many people with you, or at least you feel guilted into doing that.
Yeah.
So I heard so many.
Was that tough? I got to help mom, dad, cousin, uncle, etc. Is that?
Yeah. The toughest part is not just say no, like, Nancy Reagan back in the days with drugs, or just say no. Or people say that all the time about money, just say no. It's not that. You got to finish the sentence, which is just say no without guilt. Because if you say no, but you got guilt, a few no's going to turn into a yes real fast. Like, damn. And this is what really kills you, because, all of a sudden you can go to every restaurant. You can go on any vacation. You can do it all. But who you going with? Oh, I'm going to take my best friend. He making $20,000, $30,000 a year back then. Okay, so I'm going to take him. All right, so now you're paying for two,
sure.
Right? And y'all haven't even been out. Y'all ain't went out. Y'all ain't met nobody. Y'all ain't bought a table. So then next thing you know, having a big heart actually gets you into big trouble. And so, I think the misnomer, one of them is that these athletes are so frivolous and they just stupid and, they're just messing themselves up. It's like the dynamics at play are difficult for anybody. You want to lose some money, give it to somebody young who just figured it out or trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm close to 50. You're about my age, right?
Yeah, I'm 50.
50?
Yeah.
So you're 75?
74.
1975?
November 30th, 74.
Yeah, I'm 76.
Oh, okay.
Looking great, brother.
Hey.
Looking great.
Black don't crack, but it swells. It does swell.
But so what I tell, the quote unquote youth is, just because you can doesn't mean you should. So just because you can buy the Gucci, because you can buy the Louis, the Rolex, etc., it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, that part.
And the other thing that I say is, listen, just because you're wearing that Gucci t-shirt, it doesn't tell me how much you make. It actually tells me how much you spent.
Ooh,
so
hit them with that, baby. I like that. Yes.
So I guess, what advice, now that you have your own podcast, you have your show, you've been through the league, you're a mentor to many, whether you recognize it or not. Sometimes, quite often, people are listening to you, and you've never met them, you don't know them, and those are some of your biggest mentees. So I guess now, you having gone through what you've gone through and seeing what you've seen, through your colleagues, etc., what is some financial advice or some common mistakes that the youth that has come into money early is making, and how can we help them not make those mistakes? Yeah,
great question. I love what you said there, though, because now I look at anyone with Gucci and like Fendi, whatever brand. I'm like, the richer you try to look, the broker you probably are.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's kind of like the janitor. Like, they always said the guy with the most keys owns the least. And like, everybody knows the janitor had like 90 keys and none of that was his, right? So, the whole understated thing, and not faking understated, it's just like you get to a point where you realize, oh my God, because I remember those days. I bought that. I had a Rolls. I had a Ferrari. I had this. You did everything that the symbols of success says you should do. And then you realize it changes nothing. And what happened to me, before I answer you, is the one story that really hit me. I was like in the zone. I got a Rolls Royce. It's parked in the front, perfect spot. I got the best table at the club. I'm like king me at this time. Like, I'm top dog for me. And I remember I saw a rookie, and he played in Miami, and I still don't know his name to this day because I didn't know him. But he knew me, and he's like, Wiley, what's up? I was like, oh, what's up? He said, I play in Miami and all that stuff. He said, I'm out here in your city. What's up, baby? I was like, all right. I said, okay. He's like, yeah, we can hang it. We'll come through your table, whatever, but let's just exchange info, and then we connect later. And I'm like, he part of the fraternity. He play in the league. I'm open door, right? So I'm like, yeah. Got his info. He's like, all right, so after we come to the table and stuff, then we're going to go get something to eat and blah, blah. He already had an itinerary. I was like, all right, I like it. He an out-of-towner, so he already locked in. Man, we leaving. I'm in front, and I got, my Rolls Royce, white Rolls Royce in the front. I'm like, oh, and I'm doing this, and I'm waiting on two friends to show up. Hey, girls, I'm waiting on two friends to show up, right? He shows up before they do. I'm waiting on them. He shows up. He's like, all right, we're going to go to, I think it was Barry's. He's like, we're going to go to Barry's. Meet us there, Wiley. I was like, all right. And I watched him get into a cab with four friends that were just drop dead insanely gorgeous, right? And they squishing in this cab like this. Not a care in the world. And meanwhile, I'm sitting out here, valet, VIP, top dogging, waiting on two friends to hurry up. And then when they got in, let's just say his ranked a little different than mine. I was like, man, hell no. So that night kind of woke me up. Like, you ain't got to be doing all this. And that was a lighthearted way of some deep messaging that people have been trying to tell me for years. But I was blessed because my two best friends, both are Ivy Leaguers and both went to Wall Street day one. And the beautiful thing about them going to Wall Street day one is that they got to work 25 hours a day for a little pay, with the payoff coming in a few years or a decade, right? And if you know, my grandma used to say this, I don't know if it's true. She says, a fish can never outgrow its aquarium, right? So my rookie year, I'm making all this money. Their first year, they're making like 50,000, but they learn to live and live well on 50,000. Next year, 75, I'm making more millions, more all this money. And they learn to live in that aquarium. So when they finally get their payday at 32, they're making millions, but they learn to live off of 50,000, 100,000. Meanwhile, at 32, I'm retiring. I'm used to making millions. Now you got me down here. Oh, you got to go get something else. Or you just living off of your investments. And just that dynamic, just the fact that if you learn to get acclimated to less and find a success in that less, it's going to be better off for you. So youngsters, man, the tough thing is they got to live, and they got to live through all their imagination, their dreams growing up, the symbols of success. What did Jay-Z do when he, like, I got to get that car. I got to get that. Everybody I know that was somebody had this.
Can I pause right there and give you my insight on that?
Yeah.
So quite often what happens is we look at the Jay-Z's, as you mentioned, the Jordans, the Kobe's, whatever, and we want to emulate their spending. We want to emulate their bottle service, if you will, or
That part.
All that. But why don't we emulate or talk about their work ethic? The work that they did before the practice.
Yes.
Right? The waking up at 4 a.m. to be at the gym at 5 a.m. before anybody else was willing to show up.
That part.
The blood, the sweat, the tears, the years. How about we focus on that instead of the things that they bought? Because that's how you get to that status.
Yeah.
So I talk about this all the time. If we ask a room, hey, who would like to trade places with Kobe, rest in power, all the hands go up, right?
Oh, yeah. You
5 rings, Academy Award, beautiful
Many a
family.
Guys. Yep.
But then you ask, hey, how many of you guys want to wake up, like I said, at 4 a.m., show up to practice before the practice is practice?
Yeah.
Hands go, woo.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody wants to live uphill with downhill habits. Everybody wants to spend, the rich and famous money without doing the quote unquote rich and famous work.
That's it.
So that's one of the things that
I love that.
We talk about.
And that's what separates the real from the fake, man. The ones who get it, or those who get it and keep it,
It's like you know how hard it was for you to get to where you got.
Yeah.
You know how hard it was for you to get to Columbia and then get drafted and play in the league. How many years?
10.
10 years in the league. And at a really high level. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to, emulate what you did, but are they really willing to do the things that you did to get there? You know what those receipts look like.
Hell
you
yeah.
have those receipts.
Yeah, you want to see these fingers? Want to see?
Exactly.
Yeah, these are receipts, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real talk.
And again, it's like talk is cheap. Well,
know.
and that's why I love talking to people with the experiences that you have. It's real. It's not fugazi. It's like the receipts are there.
Yeah, you got to live through all that minutia, and it's so crazy because basically what you're saying is what I used to tell my boys, and it's tough, man, because so many people wanted to make it and didn't make it, and you're sitting there in those surroundings, like a little bit of guilt, but also like
I was going to ask you about that because I've interviewed quite a few people, and they're like, yeah, it just for some reason I made it and they didn't, and
you can feel it.
I can feel like
friction.
So maybe unpack that for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's called survivor's remorse. Like you guys all went there and it crashed and burned for you, but look at me, I made it. So now I'm sitting there dealing with all of those dynamics emotionally. So I came up with a phrase. I was just like, look, dog, everybody wants to go to the parade, but nobody want to build the float. You know what I mean? And nobody. I mean, look, let me tell you, I didn't want to build the float. Like when my coach used to call me and say, you know what we got to do today? I was like, throw up mountain. That means we got to go run Valley Ridge or the sand dunes. And that means when I come home, I'm not going to want to do anything else the rest of the day because I'm about to throw up. But I know where I want to go. And that's the hell I got to pay to get to heaven. And so it's just as simple as that. You're sitting there with somebody who didn't make those choices. I got one good friend. I remember the day. And I was like, dog, we got to wake up at 9 o'clock and go get this. And that's not even early to me. I'm like, 9 o'clock, you can sleep in. But 9 o'clock in the summer. He had the car. And I remember I was like, all right, I hit him at like 8:45. He picked up the phone. I was like, you up? Yeah. All right, 9 o'clock come. I'm like, I hit him again. Huh? He picked up. I was like, oh, all right, big dog. And that was the moment. This is my boy. Love him. I hung up the phone. I said, I got to go. I got to go work out. And now I didn't want to go work out because the car would have made it way easier. So I end up going from my house. I ran down Slauson, ran to the gym on Crenshaw, worked out. Then I ran from Crenshaw, ran to the track at Dorsey in the Jungles, worked out. Then I ran up home, back home. The worst run ever because that's all uphill. And we could have took the car, but my boy didn't want to wake up. And I was like, if I'm going to make it, it's going to be on me. If I don't make it, it's going to be on me. It ain't going to be on my boy talking about, oh, well, okay, I'm coming. I get back. He calls me. This way back. We ain't got no cell phones, nothing. He calls me. He's like, what up? You ready? I was like, dog, I did the whole workout. And then this is the kicker. That wasn't even the kicker. I thought he was going to say, okay, let me go get mine, and then let's hang later. He said, so what you want to do? He wanted to go hang. We went to Venice Beach. And I remember, it was like highlighter, yellow marker. I wanted different than him. And he was a bigger star than me. So I knew, I was like, I'm going to catch somebody if it's not him. And it's just, you're sitting around people that made all those choices. And those choices of, why I get that bad grade? Well, I do remember you watching Different Strokes all night where I turned it off. Oh, why didn't she call me back? Well, I do remember how you were acting when you were around her, trying to be too cool to us. Like, I just go back. I reverse engineer it, and I keep it real. And I'm like, dog, you kind of told on yourself, and you made that a reality by the way you were working.
Love it. And then let me ask you this: how many times did you want to quit throughout the process? There's got to be some quit in there, right?
There's a lot of quit in there. Yeah. Other than I just don't want to do this, which is I don't call quit. It's just like, who wakes up?
But you know how it is. It's like,
who wants to do this?
Devil on one side, the little angel on the other.
Mm-hmm. Which one's bigger that day?
Yeah.
Yeah. No one wakes up on October 13th and a Wednesday in Buffalo and say, I want to go hit another grown man that's bigger than me 80 times. You know what I mean? And call it a practice. So no one's trying to do that, but that's not quitting. There was one day I wanted to quit, and this is the power of family, power of having a father, especially as a young boy. My friends I was coming home and all my friends outside riding their bikes, same old normal day. And I'm like, damn, this day I wanted to ride my bike instead of go home, do my homework real fast and then get dressed for practice. I wanted to stop that rigmarole and get out there and just be a kid. And I remember I was like, Daddy, I don't want to play football no more. Now, when you're young like that, you just put it in absolute terms. Like, I wanted to quit instead of just, I need a break. And my dad's like, yeah, why you want to quit? And I was like, I don't want to practice. I don't want to play no more. At this time, we had been in our 4th year of football. We never lost a game, and I'm the guy. So I'm like, I have no reason to even be thinking this way, except I didn't feel like a normal kid. And I was like, I just want to go outside and hang out, play games, ride my bike, something. I just want to go outside. And my dad looked at me. He's like, okay. He said, listen here. You signed up to play this year, right? So that's a whole year. You're going to play this entire season because you committed to it. And after this season, we'll talk. And we'll see if we have the same conversation then that we're having right now. And if you want to quit after, let's go. And if not, we'll go forward accordingly. Well, obviously, we know how that story ended. It was like an episode. It was episodic. It was like a day or a few hours I felt that way. Got back out there, got back into the zone, felt the glow, kept it going. But there were a million times I was putting on my pads like, man, damn. Yeah, especially like training camp. You practice in the morning, it's still morning dew, the grass is wet, and then you're itching everywhere, you're bleeding here, you're hitting somebody, you're sore here, and then you got to take all that off, shower. I got eczema, I'm over here itching again, and then the coach is like, all right, you got about an hour and a half, and then we'll see you back on the field. Put all that stuff back on. This is before they got hygienic. And put all that stuff back on. You're like, Lord. And then look at somebody like you, and I'm like, I got to run you over, or you're going to run me over. That wasn't something I raised my hand and want to do every day, but I had to do it because I knew what I wanted, where I wanted to go.
Yeah, I've talked to, quite a few folks that were in the league for a lot of years, and, I don't know. I don't know what your opinion is of Urban Meyer,
Love Urban Meyer. Beast. I just saw him like a month or so ago in Cabo. Yeah, that's my guy.
So I did an interview with him, and when I interviewed him, he said, Mendez, do you think football is fun? He goes, football ain't fun.
Hell no. That's
it's
why I told you.
It's not fun at all.
It chooses you.
Yeah, and then he goes, you know what's fun? Winning is fun. So I guess, we got a couple more questions for you. I know we got to, cut this. This has been awesome that I can keep talking to you for 10 more hours here. I love your energy. I love all the insight. But talk to us about that. Like when you're going through those L's and when you're going through that shit sandwich, like how do you keep punching through? I know words are words, but how do you get yourself 10 years in the league? How do you move through that? How do you embrace that suck?
Yeah, I like that. Embrace the suck. Well, it starts with like mob mentality, how that works for you and against you. You ever go out in a big group, y'all gonna be a little more daring together, right? You're gonna do a little more together. And there's also a chance that when things don't go well, it's going to hurt more because it's all of you guys that's going to have to suffer through it. So that's what the losses feel like. Like, damn, this hurts. This sucks. Like, life sucks. No, it doesn't. You just lost a game to Buffalo. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like, perspective. So I tell all the kids all the time, man, I wasn't a football player. I played football. And I meant played football because I knew football was not giving a damn about me. It's a fickle sport like all sports are. You're one play away from it's over. So why are you a football player? You just play football. Don't beat a ball out, and just move on. It's a means to an end. So when it got ugly, I was like, dog, all right. I looked to my left and looked to my right, and I'm like, everybody's suffering. Sometimes you get lost in your own mind, and you're the star of your own movie. You start thinking it's only on you and only you. Nah, everybody out here thinking the same. They just got different veils, right? So I was like, he don't want to be here either. Just be like, and then if that's your boy, that's true. But if it's not, you sometimes you think your opponent wants it more than you. He's like, no, he hates this shit too. He just gonna go through it. So when it gets bad, you just look around and be like, we're all going through it. You ever go in a game or something, you're like, man, it's cold, or damn, it's hot. Guess who else is saying that? Everybody else there. But you sometimes think it's just you hot. No, we all hot. We used to play teams and we were in Buffalo, and they be coming out like this. Oh, shit. He's like, how y'all deal with this, Wiley? I was like, we don't. We just get through the game. But we have got through that process of not thinking about it like you are right now. A lot better and a lot easier because of our reps. So, yeah, football sucks, man. It's like, I love it. People think that that's a negative. It's not a negative connotation. It just sucks. You're running into humans. And that person is not designed to be run into that many times. Or you're not designed to run into them. But it's beautiful because they get you young. They get you when you're 8, 9. Your dad's pumped. You're pumped. You're good at it. And you don't feel it. Like when you're 19, you don't stretch if you don't have to. You're a dog on the porch. I see food, I eat. You know what I mean? Then you get 27, you start saying, I better start doing more. And, it's a little bit of exaggeration, but when you're young and you just like this and you could do the pencil test, remember the pencil test? Put the pencil out, what's up, girl? You know what I mean? Like nothing hurts. And then stuff starts to hurt, and then it gets ugly. And then you got to go because it's a young man's game.
Talk to us about that. Final year, how was it, the process? Talk to us through some of those emotions, and then assuming the first day, first week, first month, you're like, who am I? What am I doing? Where's my significance? Where's my contribution?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's tough as hell to go through that. So walk us through that, and then we'll start wrapping up.
Nah, man, talking to you just illustrates how all these things are connected and how sports is a microcosm, football is a microcosm of life. Because it's so true. You already know the dynamics. It's like when you're the man or you're a baller, you don't even have to say something that's funny and everyone's laughing. But when you are not the man, you could be a stand-up comedian on a national tour and drop some of them jokes and ain't nobody giggling because you ain't it. And that's when you start to realize that your teammates tell on themselves, right? My coaches always say, you want to know what somebody's about? Just listen to them. They're telling themselves. So I started to notice that. Also, when Coach used to talk, he'd say, get in here, everybody in here. Urban Meyer, everybody in here, all right. Today we need, and he says he looking at you. We need the ball. We need to go get it. He know you, because you the one. You, Wiley. And I'm like, when he stopped doing that, when we become somebody else and you ain't part of we, he ain't gave you no eye contact, you're like, ah. So it's all these little things when your teammates start saying, damn it, I left my helmet in there. Hey, Wiley, can you go get my... Who the hell you think I am? Get your helmet that you just left? Oh, I'm the same guy that said that to somebody like 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So all those little anecdotes start adding up. But I had a reputation like locker room guy. Like it's real though. I always looked out for guys. Even when I was on top, I was always cool with everybody. So it afforded me more years than maybe my game even needed and was offering. So my last year in Jacksonville, I'm going into it. I'm like, my best football's behind me. I know it. Like I'm trying to start old Betsy. She ain't firing the same. This ain't it. And you can get hurt, and it's really not a fun experience if you're not good at it, especially when the forecast is gloomy. But I was still the man in terms of the locker room. Everyone gave me love and respect despite some of those slights. But I knew it was coming to an end, and I told myself, if I get hurt one more time, like for real, major injury, I ain't going to rehab and come back from that because what am I doing it for? I'm not going to be as good. That injury did occur, but what also occurred, this is crazy. Our owner was in his owner's box, and he was there playing with the family. Like in Jacksonville, you could see it like right there. And I remember playing the game, and I got a stinger. You know, stinger, that's when you get like slight paralysis on one side, like, bah, somebody hit you and you're like, ah. And then from here to the tip of your fingers, you can't feel jack. It's like, you're like this.
Yeah.
And then they're running like a no huddle. So they're coming right back. So now I got to go down here, put one arm down. You can't really lead a game for a stinger unless it's like major, like for real. So this is kind of like too soft. The coach be like, what? You got a stinger? You got... So anyway, so I'm like doing this one arm, put my hand down, play it off like this. Another down, they're coming right back. And then we call timeout. And I remember doing a timeout, not even worrying about my arm as much as some reason I looked at the owner, and guess what he was doing? He was playing with his little grandson and eating a hot dog. And I was like, oh, hell no. I said, I can't feel my arm, and that man up there feeding himself a hot dog, watching me entertain everybody, and gonna make so much money that he could pay all of us and still profit. I said, yeah, it's gotta be a different way. So that was my last year. Even though physically I was still there, mentally I checked out in terms of forward thinking about football. No more. I was like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to finish, honor this contract. And then teams kept calling me after the season. I was like, I'm done. But one of those teams was the Giants, and guess what they did that year? They won the Super Bowl. So I could have mailed one in and got a Super Bowl ring, but hey, it wasn't in the cards.
Does that haunt you a little bit or no?
Hell yeah, a lot bit. I'm mad as hell for saying it, but because I could have mailed it in. They were like, they were on the phone like, we don't care what you do, Wiley, just show up. And I was like, what? This sounds too good to be true. And I was like, no, I'm good, because I just didn't want to go to practice. I didn't want somebody to tell me to carry their helmet. Your ego, he's just like, dog, I am not that guy to be getting stepped on all day. We need somebody to go in there and be a dummy. Hey, Wiley, like, because they know you're not playing, so they don't use their real guys, they use you. I didn't want one more year like that, but they want it all, so I maybe should have sacrificed for that one.
Gotcha. So thanks for sharing all that, man. So insightful, so cool. So many awesome stories. So what are we doing now? What are you up to?
Yeah,
what's keeping you busy?
Yeah, it's like coming at it from a different angle because, you know, growing up, my motivation was just to get mine so I can get ours and help my family out of our condition. But now it's like legacy in terms of giving to my family first and to my greater family, which is the community. And when I say legacy, I don't mean like just naming buildings and all that, which is fine and dandy. It's about being that voice, the inner voice that we all hear, whether it's grandma or your aunt or somebody that when you get to that fork in the road, you listen and be like, oh, they're telling me to go the right way. So I'm really big on that. And in terms of what I'm doing, it's through our podcast that we're building out to network and then taking that to grander scales and really looking at sports like it is.
Do you love doing that show?
I do because it's, you know, playing football, you got to break down film. So I didn't come up with this. I didn't write down, this is what the show's going to be. It morphed into this. I said, man, it'd be cool to kind of break down sports and show the world how we watch film. So then I started doing that with sports. But then I was like, wait a minute. Between the game and us as fans is the announcers, the media, the broadcasters. And a lot of them are saying stuff that ain't true, or they just kind of taking you on who they like and who they don't like, right? You're a Jordan guy, all of a sudden you don't give Bron his flowers. I'm like, nah, that was amazing. But you don't want to do that because you love this other guy. And since I know that's fact, I was like, oh, I must start exposing it. So now I break down sports and I break down broadcasters and personalities using their words against them the same way. And it's enlightening, to say the least, of how much bias is out there and how many times people talk out of likability. So I'm loving it. And then just taking it to other levels, man. Just keep bringing real conversation like this. This is not like, let's debate, let's argue. Let's like learn collectively about our experiences and find the similarities and then grow from it.
Love it, love it. Final question.
Yeah. Which is never the final question when people say that. But listen.
I'll try.
And then they always say, oh, it was great. Oh, you know what? If you're not busy next time, and they
I'm gonna have you hold me to it. This will be the final one. I'm gonna be a man of my word here.
Yeah.
So here we go. So you enter a room, and in this room, Wiley, is everybody that you've ever met throughout your 50 years of being on this earth.
Everyone I physically met.
And then in this room, it could be people that have already gone past to the other side.
Oh, okay. There it is.
So Wiley enters this room.
Yeah.
There's all these folks, thousands and thousands, maybe millions of folks.
Yeah.
Who does Wiley look for first and why?
Who do I look for first?
And why? Who do you embrace first?
Oh, it's so easy. And this is no slight to number 2 through million. My mom. My mom's gone. She's in the sky, as I tell my kids, who never got a chance to meet her except my oldest.
And then, if you don't mind, how many kids you got?
I have 4.
4.
Yeah, I have 26, 10, 6, and 5. Hard reset there.
There you go.
It'll be my mom. Like, I literally did everything I did for her. I was such a mama's boy. Like, I tried to sleep with my mom, like in the same bed till I was like 18. She kicked me out at 13. She's like, get your big ass up out the bed. I was like, what? I mean, we used to dance, hang, kick it. She told me so much about life. She was so talented, but didn't realize her talents. Like, she was 17, had a kid, 19, had a kid. And instead of like, okay, I'm going to scrape by and then hope that these kids turn out right by working 3 jobs, she would be real. She got on welfare and said, I'm using this money to give y'all a chance in life. And she literally was 24/7 on my sister and me. And it was an odd choice because everyone told her, 1, you're broke. 2, you're not going to make it and your kids ain't going to make it. And I remember hearing that vividly. And that would inspire me because it would defeat her. And then it would just pump me up. Like, oh, they think my mama's not fresh. Because my mama's not fresh, but they don't know my mama made me. And in legacy, I'm going to be something and pay it forward. And then give it all back to her. So it would be my mom, just simply. Because she saw me play. She passed away in 2005. So I was already up there. She already had the iced out, bedazzled jerseys. I'm that dude, my nickname, and she's that mama. You know, she sitting 50-yard line, row 17, and everybody knew she was there. And she turned around, I saw her off the yak, yelling at everybody, "This my baby," you know. So she had her moments, but she could have had many more, you know, especially with me, you know, post-career, kind of being known more post-career than even playing. So there were greener pastures ahead. But that's what legacy is, man. Hearing her still in here and hopefully entering that room, like you said, and she'll be there.
Thanks for sharing, brother.
Yes, sir.
That was my final question. I'm a man of my word.
Look at him. He's like, he has a follow-up. I love it.
Big inspiration, brother. Thanks for all that you're currently doing, and congrats on all your successes. And I wish you the very best that is yet to come. Much love, brother.
My man, I
Appreciate
love
you.
that. Thank you so much.